What is up, guys? Delboy here. Is Deontay Wilder still paying the price for avoiding Wladimir Klitschko back in 2015? As we know, Deontay Wilder won his WBC heavyweight title against Wladimir in January 2015, and shortly after that fight, his manager Shelly Finkel was asked about the prospect of Deontay Wilder facing Wladimir Klitschko in what would have been a unification fight at the time. But no, Deontay Wilder's manager actually said that Deontay Wilder, despite being a champion at the time, wasn't ready for Wladimir Klitschko. This is what he said exactly. Look, Wilder is a baby winning the title. It was his first title fight. There will be time for unification fights. There'll be time for all of those things. He could go and fight Povetkin in Russia and make 10 million, and he could have a couple of fights and maybe bring back some attention to Alabama. Let him develop like any other athlete. They don't take somebody who is a great college prospect and throw him right in, and this kid is a great prospect. These are the words of Deontay Wilder's manager, Shelly Finkel. Now, I'm bringing this up because a lot of Deontay Wilder fanboys are painting Deontay Wilder as a victim again. And this is in the wake of Tyson Fury signing that big deal with ESPN. And, the Wilder fanboys are painting Wilder as the victim yet again. But in reality, Deontay Wilder has been the guy who's always looked for the easy route to the big fights. He fought nobody on the way up for the title, and he fought a very weak champion in Wladimir. He showed no interest in fighting for a title when Vitaly Klitschko held the belt. No, he was content on fighting sort of sea-level cab drivers on undercards. He wasn't interested in fighting Vitaly Klitschko. It was only when the belt became vacant, that's when he made his push because, he saw the belt as very winnable. And yeah, he got himself mandatory. He fought Stavern and beat Stavern to become the new WBC heavyweight champion. And at that point, for a couple of years, Deontay Wilder was fighting, let's be honest, an awful standard of competition. And, in his first year as a champion, he ducked Wladimir Klitschko in a unification fight. And listen, I'm just judging Deontay Wilder by his own standards. Do you remember when Wilder kind of criticised Parker for not being willing to unify? He said that, as a champion, you should always be willing to fight other champions. Well, Deontay Wilder wasn't willing to fight Wladimir Klitschko, was he? No. And you can't blame it on his manager, Shelly Finkel, because as we know, Deontay Wilder, he's nobody's slave. So it couldn't have been Shelly Finkel's choice, right? It must have been Deontay Wilder's choice to duck Wladimir Klitschko. And again, I make this point because let's say Deontay fought Wladimir back in 2015 and he won the fight. We wouldn't be in this position now. We really wouldn't. There would be one champion. Providing he kept all the belts, of course. But what I'm saying is, everybody would have had to gone to Deontay Wilder, no questions asked. But because Deontay has always, apart from the last 12 months in his career, always gone for the easy option, that is why he's in the position he's in. That is why. And I'm not saying, don't get it twisted, I'm not saying I want Deontay Wilder to sit on the outside and not get big fights. I want to see him fight the best, and I think he wants to fight the best. But my point is, he's not this victim you are painting him out to be. He made a conscious decision to fight poor competition, to avoid big fights, and that comes at a cost. Taking the path of least resistance, it comes at a cost. And, the cost for Deontay Wilder is he's not a unified champion. He's not an undisputed champion when he could have been. He was the WBC champion in 2015. If he fought Wladimir Klitschko and won, he would have had all 4 belts, but he didn't want to know. He didn't want to know. He had the opportunity to at least pursue being the number 1 man in the division, but he's only really done it in the past 12 months. It's taken him, 10 years to do so. And you expect me to kind of see him as a victim? I'm not having it. The only thing Deontay Wilder is a victim of is his own choices. And I've got no reason to believe anybody other than Deontay Wilder made those choices because, as we know, Deontay Wilder isn't a slave for anybody. So Deontay must have made these decisions himself, if we go by what he says. So if Deontay Wilder is left in a position where he's on the outside looking in for a bit, I'm not going to see him as this victim, to be quite honest, when, if you took a few different steps in your career, you would have been at the top of the tree at some point. And you decided not to go that route. That's on Deontay Wilder, and it should be a lesson, if it does happen, for other fighters, because taking the path of least resistance rarely works. I mean, look at guys like Adrian Broner. He was hand-fed titles, vacant titles against poor competition, and when he stepped up, he wasn't good enough. He was pampered, he was babied, and it didn't work out. Broner was given this sense of entitlement way before he beat anybody of any consequence. And Deontay Wilder has that same attitude. It's clear that Tyson Fury is a bigger name than Deontay Wilder now. It's clear Anthony Joshua is a bigger name than Deontay Wilder. Yet here we have Deontay Wilder talking like he's Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali rolled into one. He expects everything to be on his terms and he makes no concessions for other high-profile fighters. Boxing for me is about give and take, and Deontay Wilder, for me, has been take. It's time for Deontay Wilder now to step outside of his comfort zone, maybe fight on ESPN to fight Fury, or maybe fight in the UK to fight Joshua. It's Wilder's turn. Wilder's never stepped outside of his comfort zone. Never. And the only time he was going to was when he was forced to by a purse bid. So, yeah, I want to see Deontay Wilder lose that sense of entitlement and step outside of his comfort zone and take a gamble, because if he takes a gamble and wins, he's then in a really good position. But he's not had to gamble yet. Fight Tyson Fury on ESPN. Now, I know Deontay Wilder has said he would fight Tyson Fury on ESPN because Wilder hasn't got an exclusive deal with Showtime. I know he said that, but saying it and doing it are two different things. Fight Tyson Fury on ESPN, and if you knock him out, like I said, you're then in a great position. It's a gamble fighting on a rival network. It's a gamble fighting on another promoter's show. But sometimes you've got to do that. And I think Deontay Wilder is due doing that, to be quite honest. I think he needs to do it. I really do, because if Fury doesn't fight Wilder next, like I said, who's Wilder going to fight? Dominic Breazeale? Apart from the Wilder groupies, does anybody care about that fight? Not really. Adam Kownacki? A better fight, decent enough, but, nothing to write home about. The other option would be Dillian Whyte, but I wouldn't expect Deontay Wilder to fight Dillian Whyte unless he was a mandatory, because a Dillian Whyte fight would be a big risk, and those guys have had back and forths in the past, and Deontay Wilder is an emotional character, so because he's had back and forths with Dillian Whyte, is he going to give him that shot? Because Wilder's like that. Wilder's already said he'll make Dillian Whyte wait, just out of pure spite. That's the type of man Deontay Wilder is. He's a very emotional character, and, it affects his decision making. He can't make decisions rationally, and, sometimes it could be to the detriment of his career. But yeah, share your thoughts on Deontay Wilder. I'm just getting really annoyed with the sense of entitlement coming out of that guy's mouth, to be quite honest. Share your thoughts below. Peace.